I work for a company called Somnus Dynamics. We make consumer sleep tracking devices, wristbands, headbands, under-mattress sensors. The kind of stuff that tells you your REM cycles and gives you a sleep score every morning. Basic wellness tech. At least, that's what the consumer division does. I work in the research division, which is on the 14th floor of our building in Austin. The 14th floor isn't listed in the elevator. You need a keycard and a PIN. There are no windows. The research division does things with sleep data that the consumer division doesn't know about. We can read dreams. Not perfectly. Not like watching a movie. But our neural pattern analysis has gotten good enough that we can classify dream content into categories: anxiety, memory processing, creative problem solving, trauma replay. With our most advanced headbands, the ones that aren't on the market, we can extract rough imagery. Shapes, colors, emotional textures. Enough to build a fuzzy picture of what's happening in someone's sleeping mind. The project I was assigned to was called Echo Chamber. The goal was to determine if dreams could be synchronized, if we could get a group of people to have the same dream. The applications were supposedly therapeutic. Shared dream therapy for trauma survivors. Group meditation in the dream state. Corporate team building experiences during sleep, because of course someone pitched that to investors. We had a test group of 40 employees who volunteered for the study. They wore our research-grade headbands to bed every night and uploaded their neural data every morning. For 6 weeks, we analyzed their dream patterns, identified common elements, and used targeted audio stimulation, specific frequencies and whispered cues delivered through the headband's bone conduction speakers, to nudge their dreams toward convergence. It didn't work. Not really. We could get maybe 15% overlap, a few shared colors, similar emotional states, occasionally the same general scenario. Falling, being chased, that kind of universal stuff. Dr. Aspen, our lead researcher, said it was noise. We needed a stronger signal. That's when we brought in the resonance protocol. I wasn't in the meeting where they decided this. I found out afterward, through an email marked confidential that laid out the new methodology. Instead of nudging dreams toward a common target, we would identify the participant with the strongest, most vivid dream signature and use that as the beacon. The other 39 headbands would receive a real-time neural pattern feed from the beacon dreamer, essentially projecting one person's dream into everyone else's sleep. The beacon was a woman named Kara. Employee number 1147. She'd been flagged during the initial analysis because her dream data was extraordinary, vivid, structured, narratively coherent. While most people's dreams are fragmentary chaos, Kara dreamed in stories. Clear settings, consistent characters, beginning middle-end arcs. Her neural patterns during REM were unlike anything Dr. Aspen had seen. The first night of the resonance protocol, the results were immediate. Every participant reported the same dream, standing in a field of tall grass under a red sky, watching a house burn in the distance. Kara's dream, broadcast to 39 sleeping minds. The research team was ecstatic. 100% convergence on the first attempt. They published an internal paper. The investors were briefed. The CEO started talking about the Netflix of dreams. The second night, the dream was different. A long hallway with doors on both sides, all of them slightly open, warm light spilling out. Peaceful. All 40 participants reported it, down to the same details, the same carpeting, the same light color, the same feeling of being invited. Night 3, an underwater city, vast and blue-green, with structures that looked grown rather than built. Beautiful. Night 4, a forest of black trees with silver leaves, and a path that led to a clearing where a figure stood with its back turned. Night 5, the same forest, the same path, the same clearing. The figure had turned around. That's when the problem started. The dream reports from Night 5 were unanimous. The figure in the clearing had no face. Not a blurred face, not a hidden face, no face. A smooth, skin-colored oval where features should be. And it was looking at them. All of them felt it looking, despite having no eyes. Kara's report was different from everyone else's. She wrote, "I didn't dream the figure. I dreamed the field again. The figure isn't mine." That should have stopped the study. If the shared dream contained elements that didn't originate from the beacon dreamer, something was wrong with the methodology. But Dr. Aspen was too excited about the convergence data. She attributed it to collective subconscious influence, the group's shared anxiety manifesting as a faceless figure. Textbook Jungian archetype stuff. She ordered the protocol to continue. Night 6, 7, 8, the figure got closer. Each night, every dreamer found themselves in a different setting, but the figure was always there. At the end of a hallway. Across a room. Standing outside a window. Getting closer by one step each night, like a slow-motion approach that played out over multiple sleep cycles. Night 9, it was close enough to touch. I wasn't a participant. I just analyzed data. But on the morning of day 10, I arrived at the 14th floor to find 3 participants waiting outside the lab in visible distress. One of them, a software engineer named Mark, grabbed my arm. "I felt it breathe," he said. "In the dream. It was right in front of me and I felt it breathe on my face and it was cold. Not like air conditioning. Cold like the absence of warmth. Like heat was leaving my body through my skin." All 40 participants reported the same thing. The figure had stood face-to-faceless face with each of them and breathed on them. And when they woke up, their bedrooms were freezing. Actual, measurable cold. One participant's smart thermostat logged a drop to 42 degrees Fahrenheit at 3:17 a.m., despite being set to 70. Dr. Aspen ordered thermal monitoring equipment installed in every participant's bedroom. Night 10, the cameras recorded something that the research team has not been able to explain and that I am possibly violating 17 NDAs by sharing. At 3:17 a.m., in every participant's bedroom simultaneously, the temperature dropped by exactly 28 degrees. The thermal cameras showed the cold emanating from a single point in each room, approximately 3 feet in front of each sleeping participant's face. A point source of cold, as if something was standing there. Breathing. There was nothing visible on the regular cameras. Only thermal showed the anomaly. Day 11. 12 participants reported that the figure had spoken to them. Not in words, in feelings. A direct emotional transmission that bypassed language entirely. The sensation it communicated was, almost. Almost what? Kara stopped coming to work. She didn't answer her phone. Dr. Aspen sent someone to check on her apartment. Kara was fine, sitting on her couch, awake, alert, but refusing to sleep. She'd been up for 36 hours. "It's in my head when I'm awake now," she told the researcher they sent. Not dreaming. Just there. In the background. Like a song you can't stop humming. It's waiting for me to fall asleep again because when I dream, the door opens wider. What door? Kara couldn't explain it better than that. But 5 other participants independently used the same word, door. Something in the dream was functioning as a door, and the figure was coming through it a little more each night. Dr. Aspen suspended the protocol. The headbands were collected. Participants were told to return to normal sleep without the devices. It didn't matter. Night 12, without the headbands, without the resonance protocol, without any electronic sleep monitoring equipment at all, every single participant had the same dream. The figure, standing in blackness, close enough to touch. And behind it, a door. A massive, ancient-looking door, covered in symbols that none of the dreamers could reproduce while awake but all of them recognized. The door was open. Not all the way. A crack. Maybe 6 inches. But something was visible through the crack, not light, not darkness, but something else. A color that doesn't exist in waking life. Several participants described it as the color of being watched. Morning of day 13. I came to work and the 14th floor was being cleared out. Security was escorting researchers out of the building. Dr. Aspen was in her office with 2 men in suits I'd never seen before. The servers were being physically removed, not wiped, removed. Forklifts, loading docks, unmarked trucks. I was given a separation agreement and a check. The NDA was 47 pages long. I signed it because I was scared and confused and because the check had a lot of zeros on it. But I've kept in touch with Mark, the software engineer. Quietly, through encrypted channels. He still has the dreams. Every night. All the original participants do, they've found each other online, in private forums, comparing notes. The door is opening wider. Each night, a little more. The figure stands beside it now, like an usher. Like it was never the threat, it was the guide. Whatever is behind the door is the real thing, and it's been waiting. Last week, Mark told me 3 of the participants have started sleepwalking. They wake up in places they didn't go to bed in, basements, closets, the backs of their cars. Always in closed spaces. Always dark. As if they're looking for a door in the physical world that matches the one in the dream. I've started sleeping with the lights on and an alarm set for every 90 minutes to prevent deep REM. But last night, during one of my shallow naps, I caught the edge of something, a flash of black trees with silver leaves, a path, a clearing. I wasn't part of the study. I never wore the headband. I only looked at the data. Apparently, that was enough. The door is looking for new dreamers. And once you know about it, once someone describes it to you, once you picture it in your mind, you're connected. You're part of the network. And tonight, when you fall asleep, you might find yourself on a familiar path, in a forest you've never been to, walking toward a clearing where something without a face is waiting to show you the door. Sweet dreams.